I think we're reality-producing machines. I mean, there's no single individual on this planet who doesn't create reality unless they have a brain injury or something. But for the most part, most of us are engaged in reality. I love the idea that every human being either lives in one of two states of mind. We either live in creation, which is growth and expansion, and it's health and homeostasis. The emotions of love and joy and trust make us feel connected to something bigger than us. Or we live in a state of survival, and a state of survival is living in stress, and living in stress is when your body is knocked out of balance, and the redundancy of that cycle over time, that imbalance that keeps happening begins to break the body down. And I think the biggest problem for us, because of the size of our brains, is we can turn on the stress response just by thought alone, and we do it all day long. And that continuous, redundant being out of balance over time, that imbalance becomes the new balance, and now we're headed for contraction and disease and feeling separate from the field and being selfish instead of selfless. We begin to live in a state of breakdown, in a state of disease and a lack of health, and so then those emotions then of those survival chemicals endorse the ego, and then we become more self-indulgent and more self-important and more self-serving, because that's what those chemicals do. So we live in one of those two states of mind. Now, those chemicals tend to be highly addictive, so this is really good dinner conversation. We can talk about it, right? But actually breaking through, that's, I think, when you free yourself from the chains of those emotions that we memorize, when we actually break through, when we remove that mind out of the body, when we break the emotion that's trapped in physical flesh and the body's liberated, that's true self-love. That's true joy. It's the liberation of energy. So the anger that once was in there, the hatred that was once in there, the prejudice that was once in there is transformed, it's transmuted into joy. And it's the same energy, but it just has a different spin. And so no one can do that for you. You know, that isn't something where someone, you know, waves a wand and then it happens. You have to actually be willing to be uncomfortable as you break that addiction and be okay with it. And then the moment the body's liberated and you feel that expansion, that's the natural state of being. Now you say, I love myself so much because I went further than I thought I could go. I transcended some limitation about myself in the way I think, in the way I act, in the way I feel. That's the personality, that's the identity. Changing one of those things, really changing it, not just like changing your mind like I want vanilla ice cream instead of chocolate ice cream, but truly changing something that changes your neurology, your neurocircuitry, changes the chemistry, which is your emotions that signal the gene that begins to change your very expression of health and the very expression of life. And it's undeniable. There's a biological, neurological, and quantum effect as a result of it.